Dillian the Body Snatcher right here. It's a champ. Big up to Sporting Icon. Subscribe. Otherwise, I might pay you guys a visit.
Now, I was watching an interview with Tyson Fury and, of course, trainer Sugar Hill on IFL TV. So, excellent interview, by the way. Many, many good things spoken about. Now, of course, one of them was Dillian Whyte, him losing to Alexander Povetkin, and, of course, the rematch being on November the 21st. So, you're talking like a 12, 13-week gap. Now, first of all, Tyson Fury, he says that maybe Dillian Whyte shouldn't take that fight, as does the Sugar Hill as well. After getting knocked out, it's quite soon to get back in the ring. Not because he's not physically ready, not just because he can't physically dominate and destroy Povetkin, but because if one more punch lands like that, even at half-mast, maybe Dillian Whyte, his brain hasn't quite healed like maybe it should do, and he can go down a whole lot easier. And that's kind of like their argument, which is a fair point, I think. Now, with the many things that he was speaking about with Dillian Whyte, I think when Dillian Whyte lost to Povetkin, of course, I've been getting like a lot of people, Dillian Whyte lost, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of them are Tyson Fury fans. So you guys are actually acting complete polar opposite to how Tyson Fury really feels, as to how John Fury feels and Billy Joe Saunders feels. So you guys run around calling people dossers and Tyson Fury's the greatest fighter to have ever walked planet Earth, this, that, and the other. You're actually acting complete polar opposite to Tyson Fury, all right? So your illustrious leader is not giving you a pass on this one, okay? As I didn't either. So he was speaking about, obviously, the first fight. And he's saying, well, first of all, Alexander Povetkin, he's a seasoned professional, okay? He's been around in the ring with the best of them. Olympic gold medalist, former world champion, this, that, and the other. Dillian Whyte was handling Povetkin better than anybody has ever done before. Not even Joshua could do to Povetkin what Dillian Whyte was doing. Of course, Joshua, he rode the storm and eventually got Povetkin out of there. But Dillian Whyte was dominating him from round one. Okay, so he was in complete control and even dropped Povetkin on 2 occasions. In fact, the only kind of person you could really draw any kind of comparison to would be Vladimir Klitschko. But again, Vladimir Klitschko, he went the distance with Povetkin, and he was leaning all over Povetkin, getting him in headlocks, arm bars, throwing him around like a rag doll. So in some ways, Klitschko was very, very lucky not to be disqualified in that fight, let's be honest. So Tyson Fury was giving Dillian Whyte all the praise in the world for how it was that he was handling Povetkin. Now, age has got nothing to do with it. As Tyson Fury said, as John Fury said, and Billy Joe Saunders said as well, that age has got nothing to do with this whatsoever. It's not even a thought, okay? Because Dillian Whyte, he's only had 36 fights, amateur and pro combined. That's nothing. And look what he done to Povetkin, okay? Now, he was asked a question, well, what is it that Dillian Whyte needs to work on to make sure that one punch doesn't happen again? And as Tyson Fury said, quite honestly, there's nothing you can do for it. You can't train for it. When one punch comes through and it lands, there's nothing in the world you can do about it. Doesn't matter how good you are, how tough you are, that one punch will land, and when it does land, it's good night. Okay, it's your job to make sure that the reason why that punch doesn't land is to put enough pressure on your opponent to the point where they can't throw it. Okay, but one punch will always get through. As he quite rightly pointed out, you can't have a shower and not get wet. You're in a boxing fight, you're going to get hit. So how do you prepare for it? You can't prepare for it. And it was an elite punch that not many other heavyweights out there would have taken. Even John Fury said that had that punch have landed even on Tyson, Tyson wouldn't have recovered from it. Nobody could recover from that kind of punch. It was a 1 in a million shot. But could Povetkin land it again? Maybe. Who knows? But unlikely, right? But hey, you never know. So he's saying that with Dillian Whyte, again, Dillian Whyte, Fury, Joshua, as much as they go in on each other, they do actually support each other. They do actually want each other to win. And as Tyson Fury said, that he would prefer to fight Dillian Whyte because it's a bigger fight and stylistically a harder fight for him. And I wish I'd have uploaded the video, because about a week ago, I did a video saying this one, that how Tyson Fury taken on Alexander Povetkin because his co-promoter in Andrei Ryabinski, who's part of Povetkin's management team, wants Povetkin versus Fury in Moscow in the 81,000-seater stadium. And I made the video and I thought, I ain't going to upload it because people would go, oh, he's been a Dillian Whyte fanboy. I thought, I can't be bothered with it, so I actually deleted it. Now, in that video, I said that stylistically, Tyson Fury will handle Povetkin with ease. He could do it with one hand behind his back. Stylistically, way too big, way too rangy. All he's got to do is keep on the outside and just keep him behind the jab. And he would find Povetkin very, very easy work. Because so many people, they seem to think that because Dillian Whyte, he got stopped by Povetkin, then that's automatic that Tyson Fury is definitely 100%. That's proof that he was going to beat Dillian Whyte all along. Because Tyson Fury, he beat Vladimir Klitschko beat Alexander Povetkin. That's kind of like their thought process. But anybody who knows even just a little bit about boxing, you will know, I don't like the words, styles make fights. I actually hate that saying, but it's true. Styles do make fights, because Tyson Fury versus Povetkin, that's an easy one for Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury versus Dillian Whyte, that's different. Totally different style. Dillian Whyte has the style, when he really turns up and goes for it, to give Tyson Fury all the problems in the world. And that's pretty much what Tyson Fury was alluding to. Okay, he wants the bigger and the best fights. In fact, he said that there's some people out there who seem to think that Dillian Whyte will give me a hell of a time. Well, I'm the only British boxing YouTuber out here that's actually said that. So, hi Tyson, good to see you. Now, stylistically, Dillian Whyte is an absolute nightmare for Tyson Fury. Stylistically, Tyson Fury is an absolute nightmare for Dillian Whyte as well. But Povetkin is easy work for Tyson Fury. It's all about styles, okay? Now, he's saying that in the rematch, should Dillian Whyte take the rematch? He's saying, in his words, no, because there's not enough time between him getting knocked out to when the rematch is. Now, I know some people have mentioned before that Dillian Whyte, he could be like the next David Price and this, that and the other. But again, let's just be clear here. Tyson Fury also said this about Anthony Joshua when he lost to Andy Ruiz Jr. He can't see how Anthony Joshua is going to beat Andy Ruiz Jr. in the rematch. It's too early. He shouldn't take it right away, blah, blah, blah. Joshua did that and he won quite comfortably, okay? So there's nothing written yet, but again, that's not to say that they're going to be right, and maybe Povetkin just catch him with a weak punch, and maybe Dillian Whyte's head hasn't quite recovered properly as much as what he thought he had, and it's all going to be over. But again, anybody who knows boxing, especially if you're in boxing, you will know that most of the damage happens in sparring. It's not actually fight night. It's what happens in camp. That's what does the damage. Okay, so maybe Dillian had a real hard camp. Maybe that's why when that shot landed, it was more devastating than maybe what it really was. We don't know. Okay, we don't know. And again, I haven't asked Dillian about that. Now, as far as the rematch go, he says that 12, 13 weeks. And Sugar Hill said 12, 13 weeks is not really long enough. Now, are they right? Well, I think they're right. If Povetkin manages to land that punch again, then they'll be right. If Povetkin can't land that punch again, and Dillian Whyte goes in there, steamrolls him, and just blasts out Povetkin, then they were wrong. But as Tyson Fury said, you can't prepare for this punch. It doesn't matter what you do when a punch comes in. If you don't see it and it lands, don't care who you are, you're going down. It's going to be game over. So he's giving full respect to Dillian Whyte. He's not sitting there laughing and mocking and joking because he lost. Not at all. He's quite upset that Dillian Whyte lost this fight, because he sees Dillian Whyte, an all-British fight, as a much bigger fight. And it is a much bigger fight. And hopefully Dillian Whyte can get revenge on Povetkin on November 21st, which I firmly believe that he will. And we get to see him and Tyson Fury get it on. That's what I want to see. Of course, we want to see Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, that as well. Anthony Joshua, Dillian Whyte. For me, I want to see these three doing a bit of a round robin. Okay, but don't read too much into the fact that one punch landed from Povetkin. That's a guarantee that Tyson Fury will do the same to Dillian Whyte as well. There ain't no guarantees in heavyweight boxing, and Tyson Fury makes that quite clear. But of course, he's saying that shouldn't really take the rematch. Should he? Shouldn't he? Don't know. Fact is, he has. And as much as Tyson Fury says, well, he probably wouldn't have done it himself, the pride would have. Because Tyson Fury, he hasn't been on the receiving end of a loss. He nearly did with Wilder in the first fight, but he hasn't been on the receiving end of a loss. If it happened, the one thing that he's going to want is revenge, much like Lennox Lewis did. Okay, so anyway, drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, subscribe, catch you all in the next video.